Look, I can't believe that, I suppose after all these years, that people take so much notice about what us guys just love doing. We're talking today amongst ourselves. As you might imagine, we don't catch up all that often, and today was a very special time when we rode downtown in a minibus and chat was flowing. Plenty of stories that were coming up. It actually promises to be a pretty interesting weekend, I think. There's a few fellas there sort of fancy themselves a bit, you know. Reckon, get the old HQ, rip her in the second gear around the back there and give it heaps. I look forward to getting a HQ around the Hidden Valley over the next couple of days. I haven't actually driven around that track. I've driven plenty of HQs over the years, of course. Some of them have been my dad's demo car when he used to sell those cars at Holden dealers back there all those years have gone by, and I take it out for a bit of a midnight sort of lap of the block, unbeknownst to Dad, of course. Phil was probably there lurking along somewhere thinking, yeah, it should be me up there doing it. I think Phil was quite old enough to be doing it in those days. Maybe he was. But certainly look forward to driving the mighty HQ out there and having a look at the track. And also just getting out there on the track with a lot of these people that I enjoyed so much racing with over so many years. There is, I think there's a way about going and doing the sport you love, whatever that sport might be. And I think you've got to do it with a level of a sense of fair play. You can race hard, you can race fast. I've heard it said these days, oh, it's far more competitive nowadays. Oh, really? You tell that to some of the guys that have given their heart and soul to their best efforts over many years, back when we didn't necessarily have the financial support or some of the backup that might exist nowadays. But it doesn't mean to say you're not any less committed or any less competitive. It's just you might approach it slightly differently. But from inside here, from inside that part of you, you're going for it, you're really doing it. There's also thought that maybe it's a little bit more serious nowadays. Well, I don't necessarily see it that way. I don't think that we could have been any more serious than what we were. We certainly didn't fraternise to a great degree. We enjoyed catching up socially, and we admired each other's best efforts. But I'm certain that we didn't feel that someone was a bit of a pushover or something like that. I've had some epic dices with some of the people here, and at the end of the day, you mightn't have won those races, but you finished up on Sunday night saying, well, that was a job well done. That was about as good as it gets, because you knew that you were, I suppose, both operating within a field of fair play. You might have lost with a level of grace and dignity, which is a little bit different from the people that get out and start throwing their helmets around and showing a bit of petulance and anger, just to prove how serious they really were. Give it your best shot. Something goes wrong, and motor racing is a very unpredictable sport, let's face it. You can never can quite sort of figure out what's around the next corner. You try to get it right, but it's always going to be difficult. So things do go wrong, and then you're confronted with a bit of a choice. What do I do? Do I sort of make the most out of what life is giving me, or do I get out there and sort of blow my stack? So at that particular point in time, I guess people these days figure, hey, it's okay to blow your stack, it's pretty good. It shows people we really care. I don't know, there's another alternative approach, and that is, well, didn't quite work out this time, but by gee, if we get our act together and get back there and sort of have a good long think about this and learn from the experience and really buckle down to it, maybe next time we can do the job. And surely your frame of mind is better if you adopt that sort of approach, rather than perhaps feeling that life has treated you pretty harshly, etc., etc. So I always think that the way we've played it, that good old Aussie sort of way of sportsmanship, sense of fair play, etc., has got a lot going for it. And I, for one, would just like to mention that the people at this function tonight, my fellow race drivers who've been around on this planet for a year or two, we had a great time, guys, and I really enjoyed racing against you. And some of the people who aren't here perhaps gave me a what you might call in the trade a bit of a mudguard injection occasionally, but generally speaking, I think we got along pretty well, and I for one am very satisfied with that experience in my life. Look, talking about struggling, I just noticed here looking at this suit that's draped over this podium. This is your Chivo? This is a Chivo suit. This is the one that's actually, that's got the sweat in it from 73 Chivo, is that right? Getting, you know, so I could grab the wheel of the car and push it into the pits and get the damn thing going again.
We've got video footage to take.
It's got the, but you know, like I was on a mission, Chivo, you understand that, don't you? We were going for it. And we just about did it, mate, didn't we? I'd like to just finish off by saying, why am I going back to Bathurst this year? I'm going back to have a bit of fun, folks. I'm going back there because, yeah, and I like the thought of going to the top of that mountain and just waving it to the crowd and getting that car sort of honking through McPhillamy Park at about 200 clicks, and you know, to me it's good.